All right, let's go. Ooh. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the pod. Matt, Kim, Peter, Saddington.
What's up, guys?
It's one of those things where you have to fill the first few minutes because we post our videos on YouTube, on Twitter, X, on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, Appa
Podcast, Daddy Podcast,
and some of the platforms don't like it if you get too crazy early on. So if you're like, damn, I wish you guys just got right to it right away, we have no choice. We have to fill the air. That's why a lot of podcasts do like a really long lead in.
Yes.
And they do like a minute of lead in and commercials and etc. Right. It's to just buy the time.
Exactly.
So welcome back, everyone. Good morning.
Good morning, everybody. We hope that you are going to have a wonderful Thursday today.
So I had an idea. I want to run it by you, Peter.
Sure.
And this is something that me and Will talked about just the other day.
Oh, okay.
I have been putting up these news type of posts onto Instagram. More commentary on, I don't know, my breakdown and how I think about certain items. What if I took those clips and I made it into a full show?
Oh, 100% you should.
Like intro, like do maybe a quick monologue in the beginning, kind of like Tucker does, and then do a segment, lead with the video, which is it's a little on the more objective side, and then add context and commentary at the end, and then roll on to the next clip, and maybe do 2 or 3 of those clips and make a full show out of it.
Absolutely, you should. Absolutely, because those clips can add up to a long form, and if you're going to also give color commentary, 2 things that might happen. Number 1, new information might come out, which would be contextually relative and contextually important. But number 2, I think a lot of people that are your followers and subscribers and people that want to support, that love supporting the show, want to hear more of your opinion. I think you've done a great job, and I think that's part of the narrative and part of the kind of the theme of the Matt Kim podcast is to try to be objective and to ask the question instead of asserting an ideology or instead of asserting a statement or position. That being said, I think people would enjoy you giving them your raw perspective and your raw position on it, even if you're wrong, based on the objective evidence that you like to provide. So I think that'd be worthwhile.
Yeah, it's something that we kind of threw around and kicked around a little bit this week with that idea. And we're probably going to need a producer because putting that together and it's not something I don't know.
Well, you already have the scripts.
I do.
So you could just, and you haven't deleted the scripts, right?
No, and we could just start fresh. We don't have to start all over, you know?
Here's what I would do, because I use ChatGPT before I use Google now. Like I'm surprised actually that I haven't promoted it as hard as as much of a user as I am. But like you could throw in all of your scripts in a ChatGPT and just say re-summarize this and add bullet points, and it'll do it for you. Like literally, it'll do all the work for you. And then you could just have an entirely fresh script, still banging out those main points that you had initially, but in a more maybe colloquial, more narrative form that ChatGPT could create for you.
Well, I was thinking just taking the same clips, but instead of having the vertical, also retain the widescreen because I film it in wide and then I cut it for vertical. So keep the wide.
Yeah.
Add a little context box in the corner like a news would for some B-roll or some pictures or whatever to help keep the eyes moving. And then add a segment to it.
Well, we've also, yes. And we have received many comments of people asking for more long form from you. So, I mean, there is a market demand or a community demand for more long form from you. So why don't you just do it? I think it's a great idea.
An idea we've been kicking around, and we may be looking for producers.
Oh,
maybe
looking for producers. If a producer who loves the Matt Kim podcast and wants to support the Matt Kim podcast is out there, how would they go about finding you?
Just slide in my DMs.
Sounds kind of nasty, though.
It's just the way to do it.
Are we past that buffer now? Are we past the buffer of the first 5 minutes?
We are past the buffer.
So we can talk about sliding in DMs. Okay, guys. Slide slithery and wet.
And if you haven't noticed, we have a new look to the podcast studio today.
Yes.
Peter is taking the Matrix side.
Apparently there still is a top G, right?
And I am in front of this fake Earth.
Yeah.
So it means since we are in the Matrix and in space with the fake Earth, we can talk about anything.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's
We
true.
have freedom now
Yes,
to explore.
exactly, because we have the contextually relevant background
Mm-hmm.
that is apropos and fully allows us to unveil and unleash our conspiracies, I suppose.
Well, saying conspiracy, the first thing I want to talk about today is your boy, Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift.
Why does he say it? I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I didn't even know who the hell he was. I don't watch football. I don't watch any sports except racing. So when anyone talks about, oh man, the Super Bowl today, it's like I didn't even know. So when you talk about this Travis guy who looks like basically a redneck trucker, that was the first time I actually knew who the hell he was.
So Travis Kelce is a very good football player.
Apparently, he won a Super Bowl.
Yes. And he is very well known in the NFL circles.
Mm-hmm.
And he was recently the poster boy for the Pfizer booster.
Mm.
And that did not go well for him because he had to turn off the comment section.
Mm-hmm.
They had to try to... First, hey, Will, can you pull up the videos? Let's see if we can check this out real quick. So that's Travis Kelce in a Bud Light commercial.
Wait,
Get this
pause.
season's COVID-19
What
shot.
what? I don't even know what that means. What does that mean?
I don't know. It's a Bud Light commercial. It's Travis Kelce. They're trying to use his name because, again, he's pretty famous.
But he wasn't even drinking anything.
He's
What am
drinking, he's drinking Bud Light.
Doesn't that mean he's a cuck?
Roll the next one.
This COVID-19 shot when you get your flu shot.
Two things at once.
Two things at once. Two things at once. I'll have two things at once, please.
Now back to two things at once.
Two things at once.
That's not two things at once.
Mama.
Good for him.
Ask about getting this season's COVID-19 shot when getting your flu
This-
shot.
Oh my gosh.
This guy, I heard he got something like $20 million for that.
Jeez.
That's the number that I heard. I don't know if that's accurate or not. But I heard he got $20 million to be the face of the new COVID Pfizer booster shot.
Really.
Yeah.
That I am not the right audience for this because if I had seen that commercial, if I actually watched TV, I wouldn't even know who the hell he was, to be quite frank. So this is a lost segment on me.
After he did this and the backlash, because a lot of the guys in the NFL, a lot of the guys that watch the NFL is a very American sport. This is like the heart of America type shit. And for him to be the face of the booster shot, people didn't react too good to it
Why do you think that is?
because no one likes the boosters. Everyone knows it's bullshit. No one wants to be a part of it. And it's someone that they thought was one of the guys.
Oh.
And for him to sell out, Not a good
Do you
look.
think it's because he's cracking the veil and it's revealing that the NFL is just like WWE? It's all fake and it's made up and
all scripted.
it's all scripted ahead of time. Did you see that one tweet from that one guy? I think it was like he was a GM and he tweeted like, so sorry for that one guy who like ripped his hamstring.
Achilles.
Achilles like
And then he did it.
8 hours before the game happened.
Aaron Rodgers.
Guys, like I don't watch football, but when I see stuff like that goes through the Twitter feed, I'm like, well, clearly all the comments are telling us that this guy tweeted this before it actually happened. So is NFL really WWE? And are we going to have a viral moment where a fat, chubby guy at the top of the stands is yelling, WWE is real, or NFL is real, guys, it's real? Is that what we're going to get?
A lot of people don't realize that the gladiators in ancient Roman times were also scripted.
Yes.
Most people think because of the narrative that we've been told, because of the movies,
Yep.
they think that gladiators actually try to kill each other. They didn't.
No.
They were actors,
Yes.
and they were their prized possessions. They were the same as WWE.
Yeah.
They were the same as NFL. They were there just to keep the populace sedient and engaged.
Yes. So would make no sense in the olden times that where I mean they didn't have all the gainers and they didn't have the protein shakes and they didn't have all the creatine, they didn't have all that shit. When you became a champion back in the olden days, when you were the arena champion of these games, they couldn't have you die. You had to live. You had to kill all the newbies, and it was all scripted. Now, did they kill prisoners for real? Of course, because the prisoners are weak little NPCs. But the champions of renown, the champions of old in the old Coliseum games, it was all WWE.
Yes, and people are going
to be mad about this.
People had no idea.
People are going to be mad about this. There's going to be comments like, "No, it was real, man. They were killing people in there."
Because they see the NFL, and I've heard this phrase so many times. These are the real life gladiators. They are.
I think the closest that we could get to real life gladiators would be MMA. Now, some would say MMA is also scripted as well. And we know. And I know there's
now you're gonna get really people mad.
A lot of haterade coming our ways, guys. Stop me drinking that. But anyway, but seriously, but we know it is because right now we're seeing an amazing marketing, a marketing display with this one internet guy who I'm forgetting his name because clearly he's not that important to me. Who are the two brothers? Or who's that one brother?
Paul brothers.
The Paul brothers. That one guy is going to fight the other guy. And the other guy
this is a great story, by the way. The one guy's going to fight the other guy. They're going to beat each other up. And then the other guy's going to talk about the other guy. And this is amazing.
He's all he's doing is talking about his like fiance or some shit like that.
Dylan
Dennis.
Something like that.
He's like talking shit about.
Look at that. We're so trendy.
I know, but here's the point. It's all buildup. It's all marketing. It's all to sell tickets so they can fake fight in the arena. I don't know, man.
So Travis Kelce got a lot of shit for doing this booster shot video.
I find it fascinating they didn't have any warnings on that thing.
I think there was a little warning on the bottom. We didn't read it.
Really?
Like everyone else. You don't read that.
Yeah, but the CDC is telling us now all the facts, whatever that is. And for him to do stuff like this, when the CDC, apparently, which is Jesus to everybody, it's like the book of order. I mean, the CDC is telling us that there's a lot of problems with these shots and these boosters and stuff like that.
After Travis Kelce got the backlash for this vaccine video promo, the very next day, it was announced that he is now dating Taylor Swift.
Can I cut you off right immediately and say this was part of the handlers dealing with the backlash?
Can we find a video of them walking out together? And I think he's wearing like a sky blue like painter's outfit or something. It's weird.
This is where the handlers are like, okay, the NPCs, the blue-haired sheepdogs are not taking the bait. They don't like him. They're lashing out against our puppet. Who do we have on standby that we can attach to him to elevate his presence and make him legitimate? Let's see, who's on the line? Fuck, Taylor Swift. She's perfect. Hit her up. Hey, we need you to date this knucklehead, this beefhead, this meathead, and make him look good so that we don't look bad. That's exactly what happened.
So,
conspiracy guys.
Question then, because I thought it the other way.
Really?
Well, I thought if you do this, this is your reward.
By the handler said, "Oh, if you do the Pfizer,
if you do the Pfizer,
you get
and
to
join this." Let's watch this real quick. Or is it just a picture?
We're gonna get an ad.
30-second ad. Fuck that. All right.
This guy, you can't cut that shit out. He was truly angry and upset.
We are
about
not
this.
watching a 30-second
shit,
ad to watch a 5-second thing of Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. That's some bullshit.
So that's interesting. You see it that way. I think we both think that there's puppet masters and handlers,
of course,
but the outcome was different.
Yes,
your outcome was, hey, if you look like a soy boy cuck, then we'll give you Taylor Swift, who's been boinked by about 89 other guys, but it's okay. You're only the 90th. My version is we need to repair his reputation. Who can we just saddle with him? Because that video that you're about to show didn't look like they liked each other that much. That was the idea that you're getting to, right?
Yes. And I think there was video of Taylor Swift with Travis Kelce's mom. They just start dating. Like, you don't go crazy in front of the mom. You're not screaming. It's weird. It seems really staged. To me, at least.
We're gonna show it now.
I don't want to see it anymore, Will. Forget it. I don't. I'm done with this. I'm done with this guy. All right, I'm done. Oh my God, you're gonna make me watch it. Fine.
Better be good.
Let's watch this damn
Watch
video.
the ad go.
Hey,
How you doing?
Hey,
there's some things with Trav where he kind of just says it.
there she is. That's not how you react when you first like get to know him.
You're a little bit more. You're a little bit more reserved. You can't let the crazy out on day one, right?
Yeah. So I think
it looks like she was letting the crazy out.
for sure the relationship is staged. I think we both agree on that. It's just a matter of was she the prize or was she the solution and repair?
So
It doesn't matter. It probably doesn't.
It probably doesn't matter. But guys, for those of you guys who care, let us know in the comments below whether you think it was the prize or it was the repair job.
Because
She's not a prize anymore.
you get a swift prize.
She's not a prize anymore. She's been run through by so many. I mean, didn't she date
I wouldn't be that mad about it.
Didn't she, didn't she date
Ding ding ding, winner.
Didn't she date Leonardo DiCaprio?
Who cares?
I mean, once you've hit Leonardo DiCaprio, you're like, dude, you're. I mean, didn't the Logan Paul's fiance do?
Hold on. She's not hot?
No,
What?
not at all.
Are you crazy?
Do you see how honest I was? I looked you straight in the face, didn't even stutter. No, she's not hot. She's ugly. Anipo.
What?
No, not at all. What do you see in her?
Leave a comment. Let us know.
Wait,
It's Peter Gang.
Will, hold on. Will, do you think Taylor Swift's hot?
She's pretty hot.
Yeah, dude. What?
You got.
This is ridiculous.
I mean, I'm not even like a fan, no way near a fan, but
She
you know,
doesn't have
this
any. She doesn't
episode
have
is
any
going to the
curves.
shitter right now. I'm just
she's
letting you
care of
know.
herself.
No, this is what people care about, though. This is what people care about. This shit, because now they're gonna look at you through the lens of he likes Taylor Swift and Peter thinks she's ugly as shit. She's got no curves. She's got nothing. She's no assets. Okay.
You are ridiculous. She is so hot.
When she smiles, she looks Chinese.
What's wrong with that?
She's not
When I
Chinese.
smile, I look Chinese. You know what I'm saying? What the fuck does that mean?
Yeah, you're right. I never said you were handsome. Fuck. Oh, I never said you were emotional.
So can you pull up this clip, Will, that I sent you about
Taylor Swift looking hot.
and
Oh, shit.
and this video. There's a clip that I ran into. Check this out. Xena Shrek, former high priestess of the Church of Satan.
Xena Shrek, former high priestess of the Church of Satan, the daughter of Church of Satan founder Anton Levy. Taylor Swift actively resembles and represents her. Xena used snakes as her symbol.
Dressed like a daydream.
That's crazy. That
Okay.
is really close.
So, do you want to go down a real deep rabbit
Yes.
hole? The one time that Taylor Swift was invited to Antarctica so she could go to the cloning labs.
What the hell are you talking about?
You said we had the Matrix and we had the moon.
We are on the moon. No, we're looking at Earth from the moon.
Oh, okay.
No. From here we'd be sitting on the sun. So we're sitting on the sun, and we're in the Matrix.
So did you see
Go.
Did you see John Kerry?
Okay.
Look this up, Will. John Kerry, 2016, goes to Antarctica to go to the cloning labs. He comes back, and he looks completely different. So is it his clone, or is it someone else?
Wait, I thought we were talking with Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift going to Antarctica in 2018. She comes back, she looks differently.
Did she?
I don't know the dates, dude. I just hear shit.
So you're alleging
I'm alleging
because
that
there
she
are
was
a lot of
cloned.
Taylor Swift fans going, "No, Peter, you're horrible. She's hot." So for those people who are thinking that right now,
So for another example, how many times have we seen Joe Biden with a detached lobe versus a connected lobe?
we're not gonna go down the detached lobe thing, are we?
Come on, bro. When was the last time that let me see your ear. Do you have a detached lobe?
I have detached
okay,
lobes.
So when was the last time your detached lobe, Matt, connected its ass to your face, and then the next day it detached again?
As you get older and you start pulling your skin, it can pull together. Right? Isn't that the theory, Will? I believe so.
Are you serious?
Yes.
You're serious that when you get Botox and you do the stretching and shit to your face, you're suddenly your ears attach.
Okay, Peter, but if they clone them, like,
Why wouldn't they clone his ears?
or why wouldn't like they?
Because cloning can never be a perfect science.
Or if it's like a body double, why can't he speak better?
Well, these are great examples of why they're clones.
Why do they use like a mumbling guy to like?
All right,
replace
now-
him?
Because people are stupid, Will.
We need to pull up the Joe Biden body double video now because we're forced to go there because it is a video of a very spry Joe Biden
Look,
with no secret security.
you have to think about what is the greater good for the deception. The greater good for the deception is optics, not sound. People will see and they will believe. They don't give a fuck about how they sound. If they sound retarded, but they look exactly like the body, the body double looks exactly like the original guy. Optics are more important than what you hear.
Well, I just sent it to you.
Because you know this. Biden used to be really eloquent. He used to be really good with his speaking.
I mean, he always had a stutter.
Oh, it's my man Dom Lucre. Joe Biden, he's waving.
Look at him.
Look at him. Oh,
Dude.
yeah, he's spinning around.
Joe Biden is not doing a twirl. It's just not happening.
He doesn't.
He can't get up and down the stairs.
Look, he's walking on his toes. There's no. Look, keep watching this. He's walking on his toes. He's got pep in his step, guys.
Where's the Secret Service?
Exactly.
Because he's a body double.
Yeah, it's his body double.
Look at this. Look at him walking on his toes right here. Toes.
Oh, I bet you he's walking on his toes because he's wearing heels.
Look at him. Look, he pivots on his toe, bro, like a ballerina. So
He did twirl like a ballerina. Spry young man.
spry young man. So guys, we live in the Matrix, like the Matrix behind me. We live in the Matrix where nothing is real. It's all built, created in a Hollywood basement, just like the Red Hot Chili Peppers said. We were just talking about that before the stream started.
Dude, I met someone the other day. Phelps, who is in our community, who is amazing, who's been helping out. He was here last week. He was here with his girlfriend. She has never seen The Matrix. That's the same look I did. You got to be kidding me. She's never seen The Matrix before. Have you ever met someone that's never seen The Matrix? After all the Matrix references.
How young is she, though?
26?
I mean, Matrix was 1997, bro, wasn't it?
Was it?
Yeah. Was it 1997?
Are there people out there that haven't seen The Matrix? Like, when we reference it, like, are there people looking at this right now going,
they don't know
why is there Japanese behind them?
They don't know.
Are they in Japan?
Dude, if you were born in 1993, you're 20 years old right now.
That's 30, bro.
Yeah. Wow. Math.
So clearly, 1993, you're 30 years old. But
Way to break stereotypes, bro.
But seriously, if you were born in 1993, you would only be like 7 years old, 6 years old, 5 years old in the 90s when it came out.
That's true.
So it makes sense that they wouldn't see it. But to have such a cultural icon of a movie that the younger generation hasn't watched, I wonder if it's one of those things. Remember in middle school when you first heard of that new slang word, you didn't know what it was, and you used to say it anyway, even though you didn't know what it was, until someone actually fucking finally defined it for you. That's probably what most kids are walking around. They're like, Matrix? Yeah, I know what that shit is. It's like, no, you don't.
If you've never seen The Matrix, you got to watch The Matrix.
You have to.
You have to.
Because The Matrix is not a fiction. If it's not fiction, it's a documentary.
If you watch or listen to this show, there are so many cultural references to that movie.
Yeah,
that if you don't understand the movie, a lot of the jokes we make are just like, you guys are like, I don't get it. These guys are not funny.
We're almost kind of dating ourselves in a bad way.
Well, you're an old man.
We're too old.
You're an old man.
You know the same fucking age.
No,
bro.
we're not. No, we're not. No, we're not. Don't do that. Don't.
He's actually a little bit old.
Don't do that.
Hyung.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Hyung, 하지마.
No one believes you. Stop it. That's bullshit. So, going back to Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. She's part of the machine.
Oh, totally. She sold her soul.
Like, I watched this. So, on one of my tweets, someone left me this link for a 5-hour documentary or a 5-hour video of this guy talking and breaking down the Freemasons and their correlation to the Satanic Church. And he was dropping all his research. He was dropping references to text within the Satanic Bibles, old Satanic text within Freemason text. He was like putting it all out. It was 5 hours long. I only got like 3 hours so far. It's 5 hours, guys. Come on.
Oh, that's pretty good. 3 hours, pretty good.
I mean, I'm fascinated. And the more I watch it, and he did a clip, like a 30-minute montage of all the famous people in the world right now that are seen doing all the imagery. Doing that, doing all of it. Yes, all of it.
Dude, man, haven't you heard the meme that, how does the meme go? That imagery will be their downfall? You've seen something like that before? Because when everyone's going like this, did you see the recent Greta Thunberg one like this? Why is Greta doing this? Why is she doing the 666 thing?
I don't know.
I mean, clearly she's a tool. I mean, she's an autistic woman who has been used since she was a young child as a vessel of a message that she doesn't even understand. So, like, get off your high horses, all you fucksticks. She's.
I don't think there's any bleeding hearts for her, so I don't think you need to worry about that.
There's a lot of blue-haired sheepdog who
not watching us.
Well, they're not watching us, but they think that she's Saint Mary. She's saving the world, right? But to see her on a magazine with the 666 symbol over her right eye, I mean, come on, guys. I mean, symbolism will be their downfall. That's what it is. Symbolism will be their downfall. And I bet in your 5-hour documentary, it was obvious symbolism.
Yes.
So, and
I'll send you the link. It is crazy.
And so let me just ask a question on that. Does symbolism matter?
Of course.
Okay, why?
Why else would they do it?
What's the purpose of having symbolism?
I don't know. I'm not a part of the Freemasons, nor the Satanic Church, or the Illuminati, or whatever else they're linked to.
We're talking on the Matt Kim podcast. There's symbolism in there, isn't there?
I don't know. I made that on paint.
There's symbolism in there. There's purple, there's white, and there's yellow. Is there not some type of symbolism in there?
I thought the colors looked cool. You know what I mean?
The lack of sophistication of this guy is killing me.
It is so simple for me. I am a very basic person.
Can I expound?
Yes, please. I think you need to do this one.
I've built so many companies, so many startups, so many logos. I'm going to tell you right now, every single pixel of everything that I design is absolutely riddled with symbolism. Absolutely. For example, one of the companies that I built a 165,000 square foot Bitcoin mining facility for, their logo that I designed on a plane headed to Miami to a venture capitalist meeting, when I drew that, I made sure that the symbol of that icon looked like a penis going into a vagina.
This does not go in the direction I thought it was.
I'm not laughing because I'm being true. I'm telling you, I drew that logo to make sure that some phallic motherfucker would look at that and say, man, that could kind of be like a penile going into a vajayjay. It's like, exactly. I designed it like that. So
this guy fucks.
So when people, now for all you internet sleuths out there, you might look me up and be like, let me find out all the logos, Peter. You'll find dick references in all of them. Clearly, you don't have an engineering and designing background. It's okay. No worries there. But I'm telling you, Matt, I am telling you, from a creative, me, the creative, I make sure that every pixel has meaning. So this actually is telling about maybe why I latch on to symbolism far deeper in our conversations. And as we unpack more of my past through our friendship, you might be like, Peter's fucked up. No. It's because I understand their mental models. I understand why they go so deep into symbolism. Because for me as a creative, abso-fucking-lutely, it looks like a dick. Okay, here's what we're gonna do.
I don't know how to move on to another segment from this. I'm stuck.
He's like Elon with his SpaceX.
Yeah, and same thing with Amazon, Jeff Bezos. There is a reason why Jeff Bezos shot a rocket that literally looks like a penis tip. Because he's throwing the middle finger to the entire world saying, guys, I used all your money to shoot a cock rocket into the sky and nothing happened. It just exploded. Like, fuck all of you guys. That's what he did. Trust me, if I had money like Bezos, I'd be shooting penises up into the sky too. I can't hold my shit anymore.
I think we need to move on today. I don't.
The more you know.
Moving on. Did you hear that Donald Trump is in trouble again in New York?
Top Eagle. What's going on with him now?
Apparently, through the fraud and business whatever trial going on in New York, they are saying that he overinflated his valuation and he made himself look richer than he is. Proof of that is saying that he claimed Mar-a-Lago is worth $1 billion. Because, according to the courts and the judge, Mar-a-Lago is only worth $18 million. $18 million is what they think Mar-a-Lago is worth. How much do you think Mar-a-Lago would be worth? Maybe billion's a little high.
Billion's a little bit high.
18 million is ridiculous.
I'm going to give you the context of my knowledge, which is there was one time years ago when they were talking about Mar-a-Lago. I looked it up on, I think I looked it up on Zillow, or I looked it up on some real estate thing and looked around. It looked expansive. It looked expensive. I'm not a real estate expert, but I would easily say there's $100 million wrapped up in there.
So it's my understanding that Mar-a-Lago is approximately 62,000 square feet as a property and about 17 acres. Hey, Will, can you go to Palm Beach on Zillow?
Well, first off, it's in Palm Beach, which is ridiculously expensive.
Yes.
And if you get, let's just say 60,000 square feet, even at a cheap ass rate of, let's say, $700 per square foot, but it's not $700, it's probably like $1,200 per square foot type shit. And if you just do the math, then it's clearly going to be more than $18 million.
Yes. Look it up real quick.
And
just so we have
if
a
I could
gauge.
redeem my math for a second. No, fuck it. What's the math on that?
What'd you say? 700.
$700.
We are Asian, everybody.
I'll do the maths real quick, guys, on this. Let's see what the calculator says.
So go to
62,000 times 700. That's $43 million. 62,000 times $1,200 per square foot. That's $80 million. That's not including the land, 18 acres or whatever. So yeah, it's definitely more than 18 million, but it's significantly less than $1 billion. But
hold on, let me send you this to you. Well, I want to show you this one. Where is
as
it?
you're looking that up, I would have to say that within Trump's calculus could be other assets that are on that land and in that facility and in that location that are valued at massive. I mean, he could have could it not be true that he could have one piece of art that's worth $80 million in and of its own? You know,
this is a patch of trees down the street. It is 2.3 acres. It's worth $150 million. It's trees. 2.3 acres of trees right there. 150 million for the trees.
Okay, so let's round down. Let's be super conservative.
Yeah.
Let's round down to $100 million per 2 acres.
Okay.
So how many acres is it on?
17.
17. So let's divide that by 2. So you're looking at
eight and a half.
Let's say 8.
800 million.
That's $800 million just for the fucking land.
Just for the land. Yeah.
Okay, I can see where $1 billion comes from.
Yeah. And go to Zillow and go to Palm Beach in Florida. And look at what the houses next to Mar-a-Lago are selling for. These are houses that are on approximately half an acre. Approximately, I think, average house in Mar-a-Lago is probably like 5,000 or 6,000 square feet, right? They're not going to be it's going to be a 6,000 square foot mansion, they're going to call it, but right. That's 6,500 square feet.
65. That's a tenth of what Trump's got.
Yeah, that's
so
6,500 square feet.
If you multiply that by, if you multiply that even by just 10, that's 400 million.
Yeah,
it's half a billion
just for the house.
Just for the house.
That's 6,500 square feet on half an acre lot.
Oh, half an acre?
Yeah,
bro.
Yeah,
bro.
So the judge said, that Donald Trump is overinflating his valuation of Mar-a-Lago on his financials.
And so why
Because it's worth 18 million.
Why is that something that you can prosecute?
Because it can, apparently. It's a part of, so now they're saying because he lied in his applications to the banks, to the insurance companies, etc., now they will remove his business licenses in New York. They're preventing him from doing business in New York because they're saying Mar-a-Lago is worth $18 million.
Yeah. I'm not going to get wrapped up in the numbers because the numbers are going to always be a little kludgy and a little bit up for interpretation. And we don't know what type of assets he has in that location. He could have one painting that's worth $80 million. That's just one painting that's sitting there. So adding that into the valuation makes sense because it is an asset that he owns. I think the deeper thing that came across my mind is these guys are pulling out all the stops.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So this is, I think, the thing that is the scariest is that he was just a regular businessman.
Mm-hmm.
And he loved, I'm oversimplifying it, he loved America. He had hinted decades before that he might run for president. He ran for president. He realized that there was a giant machine behind him. He uncovered the mat and the cockroaches fled, right? As he shone light on them. And now the cockroaches are all trying to destroy him. Like this has not set a good precedent for anybody else that wants to enter into the political game or against the existing regime and machine that runs this nation and runs this world. So I don't think you and I are ever going to get to the point where we're going to be running for president where we're going to have to deal with this type of shit. Mm-hmm. Though I did hear from a little bird that there might be some sort of presidential campaign, video or something like that. But anyway, just spreading rumors.
Who would want to run for president with this going on?
Why would you put yourself through hell to do this?
So this is a $250 million lawsuit against Donald Trump from the state of New York.
What is
They're
this?
saying he lied in his business records for 10 years, and because of his lying and his fraud, he was able to leverage that to catapult himself to become president. And therefore, they need to stop him.
Wait. That logic doesn't make any sense.
No shit.
That's like me looking at you and saying, "Hey, bro, about 10 years ago, you lied on your tax returns about how much that car was worth, so you can no longer do business."
I didn't do it.
You can no longer do business in the entire state.
Yep.
How does that have any contextual relevance to you being in this? It doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
The Washington Post. A judge overseeing a $250 million lawsuit against Donald Trump ruled the former president and his company committed fraud by inflating his net worth in business transaction, narrowing the scope of what the state's attorney general must prove at an upcoming civil trial.
But how does that have any bearing on him as a civilian running for presidency?
Ordered the cancellation of Trump business certificates and imposed sanctions on attorneys representing him.
Jeez.
And 2 of his adult children.
These guys are just making shit up now.
Yeah.
This is not a safe environment politically for anyone to run. I mean, you and I have talked briefly about how much RFK is getting censored. He's getting no play time. I mean, he's all over the alternative channels, but mainstream, they won't even pick him up.
So RFK, if he were to run as, say, a libertarian.
Yeah, no gas in that tank.
But would that take away from Trump?
Yes.
That would not be the best move.
No, not for Trump.
Because I looked.
You're splitting the vote.
In the state of Georgia, the libertarian candidate, whoever he is, I don't even know who the libertarian candidate in Georgia was. They got 70,000 votes during the presidential election.
Not insignificant considering all these recounts they're still doing.
In Georgia, Trump lost by 12,000 votes.
Mm-hmm.
Those 70,000 votes going libertarian, damn the system, damn the man. I'm going to vote for this third party, even though he has no chance of winning.
No chance in hell. Yeah.
Sorry, guys. You actually lost the election for everybody. It
sucks. It's like all the. Did you know that Mickey Mouse gets 50,000 votes a year?
That's crazy.
No, look it up. I'm not lying here. Mickey Mouse, 50,000 people every election write in Mickey Mouse. That's how non-serious they are with this fucking shit.
That's how big Disney is.
I mean, They're everywhere, man. Disney's taking votes out by having people
free in your mind.
Right in Mickey Mouse, bro.
How many votes did Kanye get?
Ooh, that'd be a good question. How many write-in votes for Kanye West? I'm telling you guys, people. I mean, like, I don't vote, but I wouldn't waste my time going to the ballot box and writing in Mickey Mouse. For fuck's sake.
If you don't vote because you say, my vote doesn't matter, the whole thing is rigged.
I already told you
Who
last
cares?
time.
I don't care. Whatever. It's rigged. It doesn't mean anything. Like, I don't care. I'm not voting because damn the man, damn the system. Right? If it doesn't matter, why not just vote? It doesn't matter either way. Yeah. Why not err on the side of caution and do it?
I already told you why I might vote, just so I can zero out Karen's vote.
You just need to do it. Washington reports that voters in Georgia wrote in multiple celebrity names for presidents. Of course, the write-in votes will not count towards vote totals. Oh, they don't count.
Mickey Mouse, there we go. Mickey Mouse right there.
Sheila Buff. Good for him.
So clearly,
Rick James. I'm Rick James, bitch.
James. Michael Jackson's dead. I love it. But see, the fact of the matter is that they could bring up Mickey Mouse, meaning that there was enough people that write in Mickey Mouse, so that is significant, a statistic enough to put it on that list. Clearly, people don't take this shit seriously. Well, let's look at the meta of this, Matt. What will it take for citizens of America to take their vote seriously?
I think
that's a big question.
People need to feel like their vote matters.
Okay.
If people felt like their vote could actually make a difference, then I think more people would. It's the idea that my vote doesn't matter is why people don't vote.
Why do people think it doesn't matter?
Because people like you tell them it doesn't matter.
I never say that.
You say, I don't vote because it doesn't matter. It's the narrative that people say and keep on doing it. And every time I talk anything about voting in any of my posts, I always get a large segment of people saying, it's rigged, my vote doesn't matter.
So is it not an issue? I think the presenting problem is that people believe it doesn't matter. I think the underlying issue, if I were to use counseling terms, is that people have lost faith in election integrity.
Correct.
So that is the issue, is that we have an election integrity issue and people no longer believe it's safe to vote because there's so many holes. Even if let's say you remove 90% of the holes that we hear about on the news, there's still a big cross-section of massive holes of fraud that we've seen that are happening. I mean, how are we going to get around this? Because America is so decentralized as a country, and you have all these districts, all these regional, local people that have, control, and they can go in and they can block people out and then do fake ballots. I mean, it's almost impossible, man. How do you get your hand around something like that without going ridiculously uber dictatorial?
Well, the idea is that because it's rigged, we don't need to vote. I would argue, even though it's rigged, you have nothing to lose by voting. If it's rigged, your vote's meaningless. Who cares? You still voted. Voting can't hurt, right? If you were to vote, your vote may not count, but it won't hurt. But there's no downside to voting.
Well, what if I voted Libertarian and that cost the election for Trump?
I mean, you didn't vote anyway.
But what if I did?
But you didn't.
But you're saying my vote doesn't matter, though. I'm getting lost here. I feel like
there is no downside to voting.
Okay.
Right? Meaning, if it doesn't matter, then your vote doesn't count anyway.
Well, then people could make a personal argument and say, well, ain't nobody got time to be standing in the line for an hour and a half.
Yeah, but they made it so easy. You can literally mail it in now.
Yeah,
and they give you like 3 months to mail in a vote. And they send you the ballot even if you don't request it. And you know what? They may even send you 2 or 3.
Actually, yeah, I got 3 ballots.
Yeah.
Actually, if I'm truly honest, I got 3.
So there's no excuse.
So actually, I could vote it 3 times, actually.
Yeah.
They probably would have counted it.
You and maybe more people did that. I'm not recommending people do it. However, it's so easy to vote.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Yeah. And they say the lines are long. I vote every the lines are not long. You're in and out in like 15 minutes. It's not the end of the world. So while this issue with Trump is going on in New York, do you know what's happening this week on Thursday?
No. Tell me.
The Biden impeachment hearings are starting.
No.
Yeah. That's
Are you
Thursday.
shitting me?
Yeah, Thursday morning. The Biden impeachment hearings start at 10 a.m.
Who's leading that?
I think the House.
There's Biden impeachment hearings?
Breaking now. First impeachment inquiry hearing into president will be held on Thursday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time.
They're not impeaching Biden.
So, since January, House committees on oversight and accountability judiciary and ways and means have uncovered an overwhelming amount of evidence showing the president abused his public office for his family's financial gain. They will be doing a hearing, will examine the value of an impeachment inquiry, and will present all evidence to date uncovered by the committee and its investigation into the family finances.
So it's a query.
So that is happening on Thursday. It's the beginning of the impeachment.
Nothing's going to happen.
Of course, nothing's going to happen. But at the same exact time, this breaks the news, is when we get the news that Trump is going to be Mar-a-lago. It's the same exact time. They dropped at the same moment.
That makes sense.
Makes sense.
Of course, because Trump, the reason why CNN is still alive is because of Trump. You remember, CNN's ratings were at the highest possible ever when Trump was running for president because he's such a headliner. So that's why they run, whenever they want to run, have stuff happen behind the scenes, they just they put Trump up on the screen, and all the other shit goes by the wayside. No one cares. So yeah, you could actually send Ukraine another $600 billion on that same day, Thursday, and no one would care because they're talking about Trump.
I got a question. I have Twitter open. Why is Satan trending?
Satan is trending is because the Hollywood elite and the Satanists that we were talking about that roll around with people like
Taylor
Swift. I mean, we're at a point in media in which it's no longer regarded as a faux pas to be ridiculously obvious and in your face. And as you and I both agree, we are now in the phase of the humiliation where they can just show it in our throw it in our face, and people laugh it off and say, "Ha ha, they just made that up." No one's thinking that deeply about the production value of this $9 million production that we're gonna have on concert and stage. They just throw it together, and it's like they're like shotgun against the wall and see what fucking sticks. No one actually ever produces this stuff and thinks about the imagery. That's why, like, if you ever watch these have you ever watched the rock concerts and the huge big screens behind them and all the imagery behind them?
It's crazy.
It's all Satanism. So what people don't realize is when you go to a concert, when you go to a Taylor Swift concert, you're not going to a concert, you dumbass. You're going to a ritual. You're going to church.
It's such a negative way to look at things.
You're going to
isn't
church.
it?
Look, let's just be honest. When you go to a large, let's say, mega church on Sunday, you go there. You got your tickets, but it's free. You know, you go there. Sometimes they have a coffee shop. They got a bookstore. They got everything you need. And before you even go into the sanctuary, you hear the music blaring. It's getting the emotions high. You got the TV showing all the cool video shit and the production value that they put into the Sunday show. And you sit down, and it's a fucking rock concert. You don't know who the fuck these people are, but they're praising Jesus, and they're singing their hearts out. And, man, you get stoked. You get excited. And then after all the music's done, they ask you for your money because that's where the ticket is. And after you give them a little bit of money, a guy comes out and tells you that life is good as long as you're a free thinker. Life is good as long as you're not held down by the man. Because as long as you have the positive thinking, then you can be freed. What's different from that in the concert? It's nothing different. Except
it's the other side.
Taylor Swift, I got to pay $190. Church, I could just go for free.
But you give an offering, right?
Yeah, I do.
Is it more than $190?
I'm not going to say anything. I don't cut the check. I just show up. No, but seriously though. I mean, and some people might be, "Oh, Peter, you're hyperbole." No, brother, I've been around long enough. There is, I think, and actually, since it's free thinkers, I'll bring it up and hope maybe we won't get censored here. But there's clearly a greater power. There's clearly, you want to call him God, you want to call him the divine matrix. That's what I call him. I call him the divine matrix. Hat tip to the matrix behind me. But there's clearly a greater power out there. There's clearly a greater thing out there, and I believe, just as there has been many recordings of rock stars of people who've gone down deep in the entertainment world, and they've all come out and they've all said, yeah, in 1983, I sold my soul to Satan, and that's why I became successful.
A lot of sacrifices.
Bro, and there'll be people like we've heard Kanye say, and you don't have to go far back, of all these megastars, singers, pop stars who said, yeah, my aunt was sacrificed, or I had to sacrifice my kid, or I had to sacrifice my friend, and like they're shaken up about it. And so you can brush your shoulders off and say, oh, this is only a statistical anomaly, or this is no, brother, it happens.
It's crazy.
It happens. And so the music industry is tapping into a power that I believe they look at the rest of the world and they say, they're too unsophisticated for us. We're tapping into this evil power, and that's given us power on this world. And for everybody else, they think we're just joking with them. The reality is they're tapping into a dark power, bro, and that's what gives them the power to be successful on this earth. You think I'm going too far?
No,
you go to a ritual when you go to a concert. You go to a ritual, man. How many times? Who's those famous rappers? The ones the new ones. I don't even know any of their names because I don't give a fuck about them. But all these new rappers, dude, the background imagery is so satanic, bro. So satanic.
There was I think a rapper recently where he did not know that they were putting satanic imagery behind him.
Oh.
And he lost his shit.
Did he?
Yeah, because he had no idea that it was a part of it. Can you see if you can find that, Will?
He's dead now, right? They killed him, right?
No, like he was doing his performance and they started putting it behind him. He had no idea. And then he got a call from like one of his buddies like, hey, what's going on? Like, why do you have this imagery behind you? He's like, what are you talking about? He's like, yeah, they've been putting it behind you. He's like, no, what the fuck? And he went on live. He's like, this is bullshit. Like, I didn't ask for this.
Well, he's not going to get very far in the industry.
No, you can't do that.
No, you can't do that. You can't.
But they were putting it behind him without his knowledge.
Of course, yeah,
I forget who it was.
Because they have to channel that power, man. They seriously do. So people might be listening to this being like, Peter's crazy. He's taking it too far. It's because your eyes aren't open, man. Your eyes aren't open. I think if you were to, the greatest example of these rituals that they have that they call concerts is watch the concerts with no sound. If you watch the concerts with no sound and you just have to focus on visuals, then it's clear as day.
Damn, but some of these guys put on a good show, don't they?
Yeah, but then when they blink Satan in the middle of the background and people catch it and they videotape it and they slow it down, it's like evil, evil, evil stuff, and then Satan, and then evil, evil. It's like, whoa, why did the word Satan just pop up for a 16th of a second there? Google it, Will. You'll find videos of Satan popping up randomly in these slow-mo videos of these background rituals / concerts that they run. And so I think that it's unfortunate that a lot of people love these pop stars, but they don't realize that they're paying money to go to a satanic ritual, and they're giving the pop stars even more power.
Rapper Hobson furious over antichrist satanic images at his concert. I don't know who Hobson is. Secular rapper Marcus Jamal Hobson, known always by his stage name Hobson. And I don't know who he is. Is he big? No idea. There was a triangle possible reference to the Illuminati occult type imagery flashing on and off while he was on stage.
Yeah, scroll down. Let's see this next picture. So upside down cross. Upside down cross is one of the most obvious symbolism that you could choose for the Antichrist, right? And if you really think that Chelsea Clinton doesn't realize that she's wearing constantly an upside down cross around her neck, and that doesn't mean anything to her, she just picked out that one necklace and she wears it all the time, you're a fool. I'll tell you, I don't wear necklaces, but if I wore a necklace and I'm looking at this necklace and it has an upside down cross, you better be damn sure I know what that means. You think Chelsea Clinton doesn't know that?
Oh, she damn knows. She's in the club.
Of course she is, because she eats babies. Bro,
Peter's giving me a hard time today.
Dude, what was that? Should I said this shit last podcast? Is that what?
Hold on. I'm putting my tin cap on.
So we have to look at it from two sides. How many Christians are there in the world?
I don't know.
2 billion? Something like that?
You think that many?
It's about 1 billion, 2 billion so-called Christians. How many Satanists are out there?
Good question.
It's pretty big too. It's not as big as 2 billion, but I tell you, it is significant. And so I think that what mainstream media will never give us, and what most people will never dive into, is the fact that multiple religions exist out there, clearly, and there are some that are more evil than others, and they have huge followings, and they do amazingly disturbing things in terms of sacrifices and all sorts of stuff. You just have to spend time going down that path. I tell you, it'll wake you up real quick.
I wanted to talk about the government shutdown. But I feel like we're not going to get there today.
Dude, don't you remember the Podestas and all that shit? Don't you remember all that stuff from back in the day? Man, bro.
I did see that JP Morgan just settled with U.S. Virgin Islands for $75 million for hiding or something about paying off and profiting off of Jeffrey Epstein's shenanigans.
Well, this is kind of the same as what I was talking about. They do the same stuff. Jeffrey Epstein was definitely part of that stuff. He was part of the sex trade, child trafficking, torture, and obviously blackmail. All of it, for sure. And a lot of that stuff is videotaped. It's amazing.
Videotaped.
Oh, yeah. Of course it is. What's the best way to blackmail someone? Videotape them doing something horrendous. You could never come out. You could never say shit against the machine because they have videos of you doing horrendous, otherworldly things to other people.
So then, I guess a final question.
Are we ending it early?
Is Jeffrey Epstein alive?
Of course, absolutely.
Of course, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Like, for sure in your mind.
Absolutely, 100%.
Why?
Well, first off, the pictures of him dead on the gurney, when they're taken out, to me, there was enough pictorial evidence that it was not the same man. I think the earlobes were different. I think the chin was different.
You and your earlobes, bro.
Dude, all I know is I have connected earlobes, and that shit is never disconnecting. I don't
Never.
give a fuck.
I'm going to cut him in your sleep.
Bro. Never disconnected. So yeah, I think
You're gonna wake up one day. Why is my shit flapping around?
Exactly.
Cut it.
And then the people be like, Peter's got a body double. No, I think he's absolutely alive. If you have that much money and that much contacts, then certainly someone could cause a hit on you, but certainly also you could say, bro, I need someone to get me out of this mess.
And if you have that type of money, influence, and power, you have a kill switch.
Of course.
If you guys come after me, I'm releasing it all.
Exactly.
Right? Just like he's hanging out with Tupac.
Yeah, probably hanging out with Tupac. He's probably hanging out with John McAfee.
And Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson's totally alive.
Yeah, there's no way.
Yeah, he's not dead. He's totally alive. There have been people who've talked about seeing him and talking with him.
So these people that we allege or assume get away and they survive and we think they're dead.
Mm-hmm.
Are those the good guys or the bad guys?
I think they're
because Michael Jackson was starting to give away some of the information that he knew. He started talking out against some of the things that he knew. Michael Jackson was one of those guys that's in the know.
Of course.
He 100% knew what's going on.
Of course. Yeah.
And
he slept with little kids all the time.
And as it was getting towards the end of his career and he started talking out, that's when all the kid stuff started coming out about him.
Yep.
Was that a hit job against him to discredit him? Or is that what he was doing and he escaped?
I probably it's a little bit of both. He had a couple loose screws, and I don't think you could blame him because Michael Jackson was probably one of the first examples of a full handler situation. And what I mean by that is he was like God to people. I remember when I was living in Japan and he came over and he did a concert in Japan. All of my peers, I think it was middle school, all of my peers, they were just crazy about him. And it was just like they would cry just if they could see him. And I don't know if you remember that one video clip from years ago when he was in this a lift or something like that, and some guy climbed up in the lift to go find him, and it looked like he could have gotten hurt, and Michael Jackson held on to him to make sure that he didn't fall off this lift. I mean, he was treated like a god. And so this was, I think, what Michael Jackson did for the music industry is helped codify how do we control a globally renowned entertainer without him fucking going off the rails. We need to have him medicated. He can't speak here. He can't say this here. He can't go this in appearance. And so I think that greatly fucked up Michael Jackson's his psychology, his emotions. I think it completely messed him up. And so when he was finally cracking, like we're seeing Britney Spears,
Yeah.
like do you see her dance with the knives?
It's crazy. She's lost her shit.
See, the problem is she has lost her shit, and she's not saying anything. That's why they can be like, oh, look at that. Look, we completely fucked up Britney Spears. We've drugged her. We've beaten her down psychologically. She probably has very little ego and soul left, but she's not speaking out against the machine. So we can look at her and laugh at her as she dances with knives. Look, I swear I thought she was going to cut her leg the way she was dancing. But Michael Jackson, he was cogent enough to begin talking against the machine. They're like, you can't do that.
So I got a huge problem now. This episode is definitely not going to be good for my presidential campaign.
Oh, are we announcing the presidential campaign?
Not
right now?
anymore.
Well, I don't know, man. I mean, Donald Trump at Mar-a-Lago did hang out with Jeffrey Epstein. It hasn't hurt him yet. Ooh,
I'm just saying.
Is that a dig? Because a lot. I remember a lot of the DeSantis guys were on Reddit were screaming about, oh, what about Trump and Epstein? Oh, what do you think about that?
Did we go into? We did last week into the George Bush painting that you showed me. I was thinking about that the other day.
I'm telling you, man, I'm waking you up.
Yeah,
The darker side of the world.
he's corrupting me.
Yeah, but my shit you don't want to know about.
I don't want to know.
No,
I don't want to know.
my shit you can't unsee.
I feel like I already know, and I don't want to know more. Which kind of brings it to.
But see, here's the thing, though. Don't you? So I'm okay with understanding the underbelly of our world because as good as the world is, there has to be a balancing. If the world can be this good, then that means there is equal amount of evil out there, and nobody ever considers the depth of depravity that man is capable of getting to. And I'm willing to go there. So maybe I won't go there every episode in the Matt Kim podcast, but for some reason today I'm talking a lot about it. But there's a lot of evil out there, bro, and someone needs to talk about it. Someone needs to be able to willing to step up. We talked about that one guy, Jim Caviezel. He's scratching the underbelly of the world, of the underbelly in the worst parts of the world, right? With children trafficking, right? What's worse than that? What's worse than children trafficking?
I'm split on him. I posted a question.
I remember your question. Is he part of the whatever? Fair enough. But forget the man, forget the movie. The worst and most horrendous crime you can commit is against children. Could we agree?
Sure.
Pretty damn near close. Okay, so we agree that. I'm telling you, man. We have 2 million kids a year disappear in America?
That's also a weird stat to me.
Let's cut it in half. Let's cut it in a fourth.
Well,
Let's make it 500,000.
what is considered missing?
Let's cut that 500,000 to 250. Doesn't matter. 250 legitimate.
Again, what does that mean when a kid goes missing? Because when you get the Amber Alert, 99.9% of the time, it is the dad that doesn't have custody taking their kid.
Fair enough.
That is 99.9% of the time. So,
But see but come on, man. The Amber Alert is the propaganda machine letting you know that it kind of exists. They're not going to do Amber Alerts for how many kids are still missing from Lahaina?
so I did look into that. And one side is saying they're missing. The other side is saying, of course they're missing. They don't go back to Lahaina. They went to a different school. Considered missing.
Sure. So what's the number? What do you think it is?
I have no idea.
What would be a number that's acceptable?
I mean, it's a tough question. That's like saying how much death is acceptable. Well, really, zero. But there is a variance that we accept.
Well, there's a variance that we accept, but I think if you were to nail someone to the wall, they'd say 0 is the answer.
Of course.
Right? That's the goal, right? That even if it's an ideal, it's still the goal. But but the purpose is not to focus on the number. The purpose is to focus on the fact that it actually exists, and we have such depravity in man that men, mostly, are willing to go this route and literally sell flesh on a massive billion-dollar industry. It's crazy how much there is. Anyway, we don't want to be super negative, but this shit exists.
I think a movie is a movie. And even if there's a social issue or cause behind it, at the end of the day, it's a movie.
Fair enough.
I did post a question on my Twitter, and I think it kind of leads into this discussion, right? There are millions of people in the world that have no idea they sit on the wrong side of history.
Mm-hmm.
Great, honest, and caring people unknowingly indoctrinated by the corrupt propaganda state. Is it their fault? And for context, when I posed this question, there was 200 comments. 90% of people said yes.
It's their fault.
It's their fault. There's enough information out there. People have the ability to know. That's what or one guy said, which really struck me, is he said, when Noah built his ark, even the innocent people died. However, now you bring the context of there are even bigger known evils in the world that we don't talk about on a regular basis.
Yeah.
All those people that said, yes, they're wrong, if they don't know this either, then aren't they the same as being unawake, unknowing? How much information do you really have to know to be fully awake? And do you have to go this deep and dark into the evil?
No, you definitely don't.
But then you're just slurping up the propaganda just like everybody else. Even if you think you're awake, if you don't know the truth.
That's what I was going to say. I was going to say, how do you know that you're still not awake when you think you're awake?
Correct.
Right? How do you know that everything that I've just spout out the last 40 minutes here is all me being propagandized by a controlled opposition under the dark web and deep web, and they have this entire apparatus under the dark web and deep web to send me in directions that aren't true. So I don't know. I mean, it's a hard argument to make on one side or the other, because, like, at the end of the day, man, we are in so many ways the products of our upbringing, products of our parents and the parental guidance and the behavior patterns, the mental models, the worldviews, and the philosophies that we've picked up from our culture, amalgamated with the parental styles of our parents, et cetera, and it's not a great example, but if you were raised in a city like New York City by progressively minded parents who have CNN on every night as part of their nightly schedule, right? This is how most Americans are. They're sedentary in nature. They are scheduled in nature. They don't like variability. Why? Because we humans like having some known control over our environment. So we move into lifelong patterns. And so can you blame that kid who was raised for 18 years in a progressive household in New York City where he literally listened to CNN every bloody night for 18 years straight? Could you blame him that he believes that they're true? It's hard to unplug someone like that when you're bucking up against an entire 2 decades of being raised under a certain model or certain worldview. So it's really hard for me to want to blame people for not being woken up, because they can't think differently than that.
So kind of
can't.
Two separate examples. One, I recently did a post about the Republic of Artsakh, which is a part of Armenia that has been under war and siege between Armenia and Azerbaijan. I put up this video and I got flooded with people from Armenia. Yes, thank you for speaking out. Pray for Artsakh, etc. Historically, Artsakh is a part of Armenia. I also got flooded with messages from the Azeri. This is bullshit, Matt. You are telling one side of the story. They are propagandists. They are terrorists, and they are in our country.
Man,
if you are Azeri from Azerbaijan, and you grew up in that area, and you are a Muslim, and these Christians are living in your territory, in your country. And not only that, they come out and attack you from time to time. Your propaganda media, because everyone's propaganda media, your media and your matrix and your environment and your parents and your grandparents and your great grandparents and your uncles and your teachers and your government are all telling you these guys are stealing our land. Is it their fault? They don't know that that Artsakh goes into Armenia for thousands of years. How are they supposed to know that? They live in an authoritarian state. They don't have access to all information. How is this their fault that they don't know? It's not easy.
It's not easy. And that's why in my fucked up brain, sometimes when you say stuff like this, where my brain goes to is, damn, it's so fucking easy to control people.
Yeah.
That like literally was my first thought.
It's like being in the Matrix and Inception at the same time.
Yeah. Seriously. Yeah. I can see that. I can see that analogy.
Hey, can you pull up this this clip I sent you? It's gonna last thing right here. So right now there is a push against Matt Gaetz because Matt Gaetz is going against the establishment and trying to shut down the government and saying no continuing resolution. We're going to shut down the government. This bullshit, right? That they're trying to spend more money, extend whatever. So Gunther Eagleman on Twitter is a pretty big guy. He's got like, I don't know, 500,000 whatever followers. He's one of these big Twitter guys. And he posted this like he's bragging about it. I'm not like at Speaker McCarthy. I can't be bought. Hey, Gunther, got an advocacy campaign we're involved with. Do you do paid posts? If so, how do you work? By the way, the issue is against Gaetz and government shutdown. This message went out to a lot of people. He responded, I do paid posts for sure. Although I won't post something I don't believe in. I believe in Matt Gaetz and think the country needs a shutdown. He posted this like it's a good thing.
Why would you admit to the world that you do paid posts?
He just admitted that he's a propagandist.
Yeah.
Just because you agree with an issue, if you take the money to post your ideas, you're a propagandist. It doesn't matter if you agree or not. He just admitted to the world he's a propagandist.
Well, come on. Every single politician. I think one of the best...
He's not a politician. He's one of these free-thinking, anti-establishment, like, type of guys. It's bullshit.
It's all
He
bullshit.
just exposed himself.
He
has no idea he did that. Look.
Yes, and I see where you're going. He thinks he's a free thinker.
No clue.
But he's part of the machine.
He is.
Yeah.
And that goes back to what you're saying. People don't know.
I'm telling you, dude, like when you tell me stuff like this, my brain goes to the meta. And I'm like, fuck, dude, if only I had billions and billions of dollars and I was super powerful, dude, I could totally control the minds of my people. It wouldn't be hard.
Like, incentivize people to post and engage in the comment section?
Yeah, absolutely. Like people give Kim Jong-un, I keep forgetting, Kim Jong-un, they give him a bad rap. But dude, he's having the fucking time of his life.
He's doing the same thing everyone else is,
Exactly. Except he has a smarter plot of land. Like, no, North Korea is half the size of Florida. Like, it's an entire country all to his own. Like, and guys, don't get it twisted. I'm not promoting or supporting Kim Jong-un at any way. But if we just look at the man, like, dude, he's fucking running the game. He's got these people under his thumb. He's got statues of him, and he can make people cry. He can tell them that he's God, and they'll believe him.
He is who all these people want to be.
That's exactly where I was going with it. You got it. That's exactly where I was going. And I'm not gonna categorize all politicians, or this guy wasn't a politician, but all politicians in the same lump. But man, I tell you, most politicians, in my mind's eye, you correct me if I'm wrong, Matt, I just think they're all power hungry motherfuckers.
I don't think they start there. I don't think anyone goes, I'm going to join politics and I'm going to devote 20 years of my life so that I can get paid 20 years later. I don't think it worked that way.
What are you talking about? Pelosi only gets paid $400,000 a year, but she's got $100 million.
Correct. But it doesn't happen year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4.
All right,
I think when you start, you have a good intention because you have to sacrifice time and there's no guarantee that you make it to the finish line.
Disagree.
I don't think they start there. I don't think people go, okay, I want to invest 10 years. I want to hope that I get elected over and over and over again, that I hope I don't get kicked out. I don't run into a scandal. And then maybe if I devote my life to it, maybe there'll be a payoff in 20 years.
That's not what they're thinking. Let me tell you why I disagree. They're not thinking any of that.
Mm.
They're thinking, I can make decisions for everybody else. And guess what, Matt? One of my biggest issues with voting is I don't want to give anyone my consent to tell me how to live.
Mm.
You don't know better than I do. Just because I vote for you doesn't mean that you can. If I vote for you, that means I am conceding my rights to an authority above me and saying, in effect, you know better than I do. Please make policies that will make my life better. The fact remains is there is no man that I know that can make better decisions for me and my family than me.
But if you had to trust someone to do it, wouldn't it rather be someone that you've chosen? If you have, because they're going to do it anyway.
But that's my point. Take me out of the equation. Every single politician believes that they are better at making decisions for the general populace than the general populace. That's a power issue to me.
But isn't that a prerequisite for the job?
Of course.
If you don't think that you have the ability to make decisions on other people's behalf, you don't even want the job.
Of course, that's ego. That's power. That's what these political science majors who go to Georgia State and they major in political science. Their makeup of their personality, of their character. Guys, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not dissing on Georgia State here, but understand my metaphor, my narrative here, is that you go to political science so that you can go into politics because there's this undergirding thing or a social justice issue or a political or a human issue that you believe that you have the solution to.
Okay. I'm a political science major. I went to Ohio State.
Yep.
If I ran for government, how would that make you feel?
Well, I know you.
I mean, that's the point of the campaigning, and that's the point of meeting, and that's the point of doing interviews, and that's the point of doing podcasts.
You don't know any of the politicians.
But everyone here that's watching or listening, they don't know me like they know you. Are you supposed to personally go meet every single person and spend 10 years with them? How do you relay your message without doing that? Because, for example, there's this guy out there that I absolutely think is a huge cuck and a plant and not a good guy. Vivek.
Really?
But
Really?
there are a lot of people that really like him. And he's doing exactly what the only other way.
Yeah, but
which
nobody
is
really knows
go to
him.
all the podcasts, go to all the interviews, meet with as many people as possible, get yourself a god. He's at like 2%. So like it's a lot of effort for very low reward. However,
Well, he's long run, I think.
but his name is well known now.
Yeah,
he's
he's
now a known entity.
I think he's going long run.
But you get my point. How else do you do it then?
Well,
How would someone else that was not me earn your trust?
that's why local politics and regional politics, I think, are far superior to national politics. I think you and I can both agree that a smaller government overall is a win.
Of course.
Okay. And if we go to the logical extreme of smaller governments, I think where that leads us to is local government is all that really matters because that's where it's actually affected. So, can a local yokel in Duluth get to know?
If we allege to be there.
Let's just say Duluth, like, or DeKalb County, right? Can a local constituent that's in the community of DeKalb County, can they campaign heavily in DeKalb County in a year? Absolutely. Could they meet? We're talking about millions of people. Could they meet a couple 100,000 of the main movers and shakers, business people, and people of influence in DeKalb? Of course they could. Could they grow relationships over a period of time where they could actually get to know the character and the person of that person? Absolutely. Could we create policies that are absolutely amazing for the DeKalb County area? Absolutely. So I think that is where relationships can grow, and that's where politics actually does have value. For example, I live in a small city. I used to be slightly involved with city council until that could be a story for another time. But the reason I was interested in the local city council is because I lived in that city, and I did not want the duplexes. That was my issue. I did not want the duplexes to be built within a couple miles of my house.
And they built them.
They built them anyway.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, they built them anyway. But, like, for me, fuck DC. Like, I don't want these duplexes near my house because it's going to lower land value, as it always does. And, you know, my voice wasn't very effective there, but I did go to 3 or 4 town councils, and I did complain because this is affecting my life, my house that I built, on my land with my wife, my kids. This is a local matter that really mattered to me, and I think that's where politics should go, is to the regional and very local level. I don't know how to do that from a national standpoint, how to localize that, but all I know is I read shit online that says that fucking $1.9 billion went to fucking Maryland, which is or Baltimore. $1 billion went to the Baltimore City schools, and nothing fucking improved. How do you send $1 billion to a fucking school, to a school district in Baltimore, and nothing fucking improves? Like, where did that money go? Like, that shit kills me, because that's at the national level. They're throwing money down the national pipeline down into fucking Baltimore. How do you spend $1 billion and nothing improves?
So how do you, I mean, we'll just use me as an example, just because it's easier. If I were to run for local government, anything within the county, I can probably win whatever I run for.
Yeah. And I'd vote for you.
Thank you. But the reality is that the reach is big enough people kind of know what's going on, and to build the momentum to be able to do that, I don't think it'd be very difficult. Considering that in order to win something within like a county level, you need like 10,000 votes.
Yeah, I was about to say 12,000, yeah.
Yeah, 10, 12,000, like will get you pretty much any position you want.
Yeah, you good.
Yeah, I don't think that's the biggest issue. But then that would take me to take that role extremely seriously, devote all my time to doing that, trying to do the best I can for the people that they are, meaning I would probably not be able to do this because local government is a lot more time consuming.
Not if you did a good job. You wouldn't have time for this podcast if you actually did a good job.
That's what I mean. But we have a bigger mission in the world. And in order to achieve the bigger mission, we can't work on local politics. That's the unfortunate trade-off that we're stuck with in life. Then if qualified people that could probably do well in those positions have bigger things to work on, you're always going to be stuck with the rut, working in politics locally. And only the people that have bigger aspirations will go into the federal level.
Bigger aspirations of power, yeah.
The system's broken. There's no way to fix that. And otherwise, it'd be, okay, we need to self-govern, but that's not going to work. Again, we go back to the argument of the solution is anarchy, but nobody wants anarchy.
Yep.
Then now what?
Well, I'm not telling you I have an answer. I'm telling you is that there's not a bone in my body that would ever tell me that someone else knows better for my family and for myself than I do. And as a businessman, I've gone through multiple presidencies now. None of those presidents, whether it was Bush or Obama or, Trump, I mean, business was as business was. Like, where there's some import-export tariffs, where there's some policies that did affect costs and stuff like that, yes. Could I control it with my vote? Probably not. Is it my job as a man and as a husband to provide the best that I can for my family and my children, regardless of the outcome, regardless of the political atmosphere? Absolutely. And so I think where my mind is in a lot of ways is above the fray, because at the end of the day, I got a family to feed, I got kids to raise, I have to be the best damn man that I can for my wife, and I think that colors a lot of my commentary and my interest in politics, because at the end of the day, politics is not going to feed my family.
Then final question before we call it a day. If you were run into a politician, or you had to vote for a politician, or we needed a politician or a leader to rely on, what's more important? The policies and stances that he takes on the issues you care about, or whether or not you think that person will make a best decision on your behalf given the opportunity?
I am interested in willing to see who that could be for America. Who could be the galvanizing leader that the American populace can really rally around and say, America first, let's get this nation under wraps. We were just talking about government shutdown, but at the same breath, we also heard that we're going to shut down government, but we're going to still send money overseas.
Yes.
Like, come on. If that doesn't upset you, then maybe to your point, it's just impossible to argue anything at that point, because they're not going to agree with you. They're going to be like, let's shut down America, but let's still send billions of dollars to this other place.
Well, I ask because politicians run on policy, talking points.
Do they, though?
They do. right?
Or
Which
is-
side
or
of
is
it are
your,
you
or
on?
is your homeboy Vivek an example of personality trumps policy? Because the boy knows how to speak. The boy knows how to. He knows how to answer at the right time. He's got good timing. He's got enough context. He can say the answer you want to hear that can placate and downplay the real issue.
Well,
like he's really good at that, right?
He is, but he's got no movement in the polls. So he may be saying the right things. Nobody cares. People stick to the talking points. People stick that it's been tried and true.
But don't you think Trump was a personality? He didn't have any.
He started off just so big. I think that was really his thing. I mean, he was one of the most popular people in the world prior to running for president.
That's true. That's an unfair comparison.
Right.
He had 30 years of successful business before he
And
became
20 years on TV. And everyone knew him. Everyone knew his name. His brand had value. So I think it's a little bit different because he started at a position and they cut him down versus a guy trying to build his name up doing a very similar thing, but he started from nothing.
It's actually interesting that you say it that way. I never thought of that till now. Like Trump's. Well, actually, I don't know. Let me ask you the question. Do you think the value of Trump's brand name has been diminished because of all this stuff, or do you think it's gotten better?
It's definitely gone down.
Yeah, that's where I was thinking.
Yeah.
I was thinking it's gone down.
Because
So
you
he is-
you need both sides to have ultimate leverage.
He's truly taken a personal hit.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he is definitely sacrificing his name, his brand to do what he's doing.
So there are some political pundits that say that if he can get into a second term, he's going to truly clean the swamp this time. What do you think? Because, trick me once, shame on me. Trick me twice.
Senator Lindsey Graham is a warmongering rhino establishment cuck.
I love that he's like best purchase ever, killing people.
And Trump recently came out and said he has value to me.
See, that's where their political relationships and the time spent with each other, just you and I will never know about. So maybe there really is value in that man, versus the statements we've heard him say.
But it's essentially saying, I have value in the swamp. How are you going to clean out the entire swamp if you have soldiers in the swamp that you value?
Man, don't you wish there was some sort of like surveillance filter that could just...
Yeah, let's just surveil everyone.
Well, we're already doing that.
How about we just give people social credit scores, and then every time Trump or Biden say something we don't like, we can just
downvote them?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we should. I think we should.
How
do
about we
that.
just give social credit scores only to the politicians?
That reminds me of a meme that says all politicians should wear a racing jacket that shows all their sponsors. Because when you show up to the Senate hearings and you got all your sponsors on you, like Shell Oil and Pfizer, kind of tells you something, doesn't it?
I like that idea.
Don't you? Oh, you haven't seen that meme?
If I ever make it to politics, I'm going to make that a rule.
We'll look that up. There's a meme that shows. Wouldn't it be great if all politicians wore jackets that showed all their sponsors, and it had all these Photoshop pictures of all these senators with jackets of all their Pfizer sponsors, Johnson & Johnson sponsors, and shit like that. It was actually a meme. So yes, I would love that too. I think it would be great to know who is sending these people money, so that we can understand how they're being paid.
And on that note, see you next week.
Conspiracy Thursday.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great week.
Oh shit, man.
Dude, I don't think we can talk about Hitler. You want to do this? You want to do this next week?